Those are your knees?
That was my knees when I yeah, did you hear that crack?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look.
Oh.
No, they didn't. So once in a while, they'll just like crack.
Have you reached the party?
Yeah, like, are my bones okay? I've been doing that since I was a kid, so I assume everything's all right.
Oh, I was going to say, like, you are almost 30. So it could just be that.
Wow. Yeah, my age is catching up to me.
It is.
You were just telling me before that, like, being in your 30s is all good and glorious. And, well, your bones, though.
Yeah. Yeah, your bones are like, fuck you. That's the only downside.
Yeah. Gosh, no, I'm not looking forward to that part.
No.
But whatever. I mean, it's part of life.
It is, yeah.
So, Apureevil presents An Hour at the House. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Ashton. I am the owner of Limitless Fitness, and I am an online personal trainer and soon to be mental wellness coach.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. And again, do you want to kind of dive into why you took that path and like what about those things is it that you like and that you're inspired to keep doing them and, you know, get started in the first place?
Yeah, so I guess I can start with like my story. So growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence. You know, I watched my mom talk down about herself a whole lot, and also like had a lot of like abandonment issues, rejection issues. Just, you know, especially like from my dad. He left when I was 2. I didn't really want to be a part of my life. You know, I've like tried to reach out and everything. You know, I actually distinctly remember this one time as a kid. He had told me he was going to come see me, and I remember like sitting outside, super excited, end of the driveway for 2 hours waiting on my brand new bike because I wanted to show him my bike. I was so pumped about it.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, 2 hours later, still hadn't shown up. And but yeah, he said he was going to be coming. So I was like, yeah, no, he's coming. So, you know,
Right.
And my mom's like, Ashton, he's not coming. And like, and my buddy said he's coming. So,
Yeah.
you know, people do what they say they're going to do, right?
Kids.
Yeah, right?
It's okay. Yeah, I get that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's coming, Mom. I'm waiting.
He's coming. He
as
said he was
long
going to
as it
come.
takes, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no. And he never came. But yeah, so that's a very vivid memory that I have. Led to a lot of trust issues too. But yeah. And, you know, even like, you know, my mom remarried. You know, I had a stepdad. But it was always very clear growing up, like I was not his kid. You know, he would take my little brother and little sister places, and he would leave me at home, that kind of thing. So yeah, just like overall did not have a, you know, super nourishing upbringing.
Right.
But yeah, and like even into high school and everything too, I would try my best in school. I would get 98 on a test, and my mom would be like, oh, why didn't you get like 99 or 100, blah, 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 blah. Like nothing was ever good enough. But yeah, and then like right out of high school, you know, thanks to my not super, I guess, self-confidence, I don't know, upbringing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, you're doing it.
But yeah, I ended up right out of high school, got into a toxic relationship about a year and a half in. Oh, sorry, I will give a trigger warning. I am going to be talking about domestic abuse and some rape. So if anybody wants to skip forward, AJ, if you want to just like put in the description, like, you know,
100%.
the timeline.
You're forewarned.
Forewarned. But yeah, if you do want to skip ahead, go for it. But yeah, so yeah, he started getting abusive and everything. And I was in that relationship for about 2.5 years.
And quick note,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt,
Yes,
but
sorry.
verbal abuse, physical abuse.
Physical, mental, verbal,
Oh,
everything.
the works.
There was a point where he had slapped me so hard across the face, it literally left a welt shaped like a handprint on my face.
Wow.
Yeah. And then eventually, like, yeah, he did have me convinced, like, to the point, like, there were times where I was going to call the cops, but, you know, like, he had worn me down mentally so much that I didn't even believe that the cops would come
Really?
if I called them. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, yeah, eventually, like, there was a night where he had me pinned down like on the ground. He was choking me, and if I screamed, he would spit in my mouth. He burned my forehead with a cigarette. Yeah, I don't know if you can like see it. There's like a little scar like on my forehead. But yeah. So yeah, but his brother is actually the one who ended up calling the cops. They did come and they did arrest him. It didn't last long. I was basically laughed out of court because I didn't document every single time he hit me, every time he slapped me. I didn't take pictures.
I see.
Yeah, so basically like,
wow.
I was told like the justice system is not going to do anything for you.
Nothing.
Like I said, yeah,
wow.
Yeah, he went to jail over the weekend, and then he went to court, and they threw it away. Right. But yeah, and then like I finally got up the courage to tell my mom, and she literally just told me, "I told you so." Yeah, so right there, I was basically like, you know, like the people that you were supposed to reach out to for help. I learned right then and there that like that just wasn't true for me. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't have anybody to reach out to. But yeah, and then I actually ended up going to church after that for about 5 years. It ended up being a cult. And so it just ended up resulting in like 5 more years of trauma.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes.
This story better get better. I know it gets better, but like
it does get better. It does get better, I promise. Right now it just kind of gets a little bit worse. But yeah. And you know, like I'm not like bashing churches or anything like that. I do believe in God. But if you don't, that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. You know, like I'm not gonna like out this church or anything. Like that's not what I'm here to do.
It just happens that church was culty.
It was culty. Very culty. But yeah. And yeah. So ended up finally getting out of that. And ended up getting into just a lot of drugs, a lot of partying, a lot of drinking. And then, yeah, just hanging around with like not good people. And then couple years later, when I was 27, I ended up going on a date with a guy. It was our second date, and then I was raped. And yeah, so, and like I think for like a long time I actually like tried to convince myself that I wasn't actually raped. Like I kept telling myself like, oh well, you had a couple drinks, like you went on a date with this guy, like this is your second date, you know, like you know, he cooked you dinner, like that kind of thing. And then yeah, so I just kind of like convinced myself, I think, like, or tried to like push it down because I'm like, oh, you weren't actually raped because of all these things,
right?
And I think that just goes back to, you know, back to when I was in that abusive relationship, and you know, like because I didn't take pictures, you know, I didn't document anything, like that kind of thing, like it just kind of like the justice system failed me, right? So who's to say that it wouldn't fail me again? Yeah, and I just like didn't tell anybody until I told a therapist like a couple years later, and she was like, oh, you were raped. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes, I guess that did happen. But yeah, and then yeah, so I decided to get the fuck out of my hometown. I moved to a city, this one, where I literally knew nobody.
Yeah.
I just wanted to start fresh. I just wanted to start over. I wanted to take care of myself. And then, yeah, I started to go to the gym. And yeah, like I noticed like really great physical differences in my body. You know, I felt more confident. But also like for the first time, I like noticed, I actually felt like I had some sort of control over my life. And I felt like I had some kind of power. I didn't feel powerless or weak anymore, you know, and like I just carried myself a little bit differently. I took care of myself better. I felt better about myself. And yeah, like fitness essentially like saved my life, basically.
Nice.
You know, and like, so, I mean, that coupled with therapy.
Therapy,
do not dismiss the benefits of therapy. It's great.
Totally.
But yeah.
And did you do the therapy before going to the gym? Was the gym recommended to you, or were you just like, I'm just going to try the gym? Like,
I went to one therapist in Lloyd. I had one session with her. And that's kind of where I like figured out, oh, I did have toxic parents. My upbringing was fucked up. Like, that's not normal.
Right.
You know, and like, she's the one who did let me know, like, I was raped. But it was almost like I didn't quite like jive with her.
I see.
So I was just like, oh, okay, that was cool. But like, I think I'm done with this one, you know, like whatever.
Okay.
Right. Right now I did find like an actual, like a therapist that I do really get along well with. And, yeah, he's amazing.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, I wasn't really like recommended to me. I had been kind of working on my own fitness journey about 7 years ago, kind of off and on. Like, I wasn't super consistent with it.
Right.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just obviously wasn't taking care of myself because I was doing a bunch of drugs and drinking and like all that kind of shit, right? But yeah, like I said, I kind of decided to take control over my own life and started going to the gym, became more confident. But yeah, and then I just realized that like I just wanted to help and impact other women who have gone through the same things as me. And at first I didn't know exactly how I was going to do that or what that would look like. And like I'd always considered like, you know, being a fitness coach, you know, doing personal training. But then you always hear like, oh, it's a saturated market. There's so many out there, like blah, 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 blah. But then I just decided to say like, you know what, fuck it. Like, how many pizza joints are there out there? And how many of them are still making money,
Right.
you know, because they appeal to different people, you know, like I'm not going to appeal appeal to everybody. And nor do I want to. I don't want to appeal to everybody. I want to appeal to a certain type of people, a certain niche. And, you know, I want to impact certain women. And I'm going to impact those women.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's kind of where I came into it. But yeah, so I just kind of like decided to get certified. So I was officially certified October and started my fitness business November 1st. And
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Of last year, yeah?
Yes, of last year.
Okay,
Yeah,
sick.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Sick.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to hear. The gym part of it all, like, so you didn't start in Lloyd. You started when you came out to Edmonton.
No, I started going to the gym in Lloyd, but
In Lloyd,
very
okay.
inconsistently.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I
very
was just like,
inconsistently.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, just something to do. And I know you mentioned the partying thing. That was during your 20s as well, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was, yeah.
Nice. And so, aside from the gym, what else that you mentioned that you're also doing? Mental
wellness coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm actually taking a mental wellness coaching certification right now. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. In a few months, that is something I will be adding to my tool belt.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
So I'm assuming the goals of last year
Mm-hmm.
you reached by getting your certification.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any more goals this year that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. Well, actually, one of my goals was to quit my full-time job that I was previously working in, which I did. My last day there was April 28th.
Nice.
Yeah. So I am doing this full-time. But yeah, so my goals for this year is I do want to get that mental wellness coaching certification. And yeah, I do just want to continue to inspire and impact women. And yeah, eventually, like I do still have a part-time job. So I do want to quit that as well.
I see. Do you think that's going to be your first step into moving forward into branching off into just your own business? Because you have a full-time job and you have a part-time job?
No, I have a part-time job.
Oh, you have a part-time job
I quit
now.
my full-time job.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
quit my full-time
so-
job.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, so the new
Yes.
job is
Yeah.
the part-time job.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense now.
Yeah.
I was like, you have a new job that's a full-time job plus a part-time job? I got so confused there. No, that's cool. Okay, so you're definitely making the right steps in towards, you know, what you're wanting to do full-time.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. No, honestly, I think more people should be doing something like in that regard. You know, if there's something that you really feel passionate about and that you really like and that you feel you're pretty good at, you know, you just maybe some work and efforts, like to do it, and you're doing that, you know. So I hope you're proud of yourself because that's awesome. You know,
Thank
we need
you.
more people like that. So
Yeah, and you know it's always scary to like, just branch off into your own thing, right? Like I had this full-time job for 5.5 years, So for me, that was like,
That's all you knew.
It's all I knew.
Yeah.
It's all I knew. 5.5 years of security and like vacation pay, bonuses, like just down the drain. But I just, yeah, it's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I'm passionate about. It's not how I want to continue to live my life. And I just felt like if I didn't cut ties right away, that I would just never make that jump and do it. And then I would just be stuck, you know, living paycheck to paycheck, doing something that I wasn't a big fan of, and just not helping the women that I wanted to help.
Totally. But would you say something like 3 years ago, would you have seen yourself where you're at now?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
3.5 years ago, I would have shit myself if someone had come up and been like, "You're gonna quit your job and you're gonna run your own fitness business." I would have been like, "Go fuck yourself." That's not funny.
This 5-year job, it's everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, totally. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a positive thing that's happening for you this year. You know, like, obviously you want to be doing more of that.
Yeah.
And eventually the step is to make that your full-time gig, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Is there any way that you can see that happening within like this year? Is this maybe a goal for next year sort of thing?
I mean, nothing's impossible. You know, like it's like I'm not going to put that pressure on myself to be like, oh yeah, you know, by December 2023, like I'm not going to have any jobs anymore. I'm just going to work my business full time because you never know what's going to happen.
True.
You know, like shit happens. You're running your own business. Sometimes shit hits the fan.
Totally.
And, you know, things don't always go as planned. It's just life. I would love to be able to do that. And I know that if I did work hard enough and did everything I needed to do, then it's very possible. But yeah, like I said, I'm just not going to put that pressure on myself to actually do that.
Yeah.
Because then you just kind of like run yourself ragged. You burn yourself out because you're just working so hard because like all you can think about is like, oh, I need to quit. Like, you know, and then you end up hating what you're doing and that passion's gone. And I don't want to ever hit that point.
Fair. That's a good answer. So you have like a set pace in your mind that you're like, I'm just going to get this done and this done within this amount of time, you know?
Yeah, I'm just going to like do my non-negotiables, do my routines and everything and you know, do what I need to do. And if it happens, then that would be amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you plan on owning like your own like studio for your business, like a space to have, or is it just going to be kind of like freelance, just wherever you're at?
Well, I actually do eventually want to own my own women's gym. Yeah, and I want it to also second as like a rehabilitation center for women who've gone through trauma. So like domestic abuse, sexual assault, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely like way more in the future.
Right.
But yeah, and then in order to be able to do that, then I need to have like a online business that's running all on its own. I'm going to need a team and everything too. So that's going to take some time to build. But yeah, that is something that I do want in the future.
Right. Yeah. Do you already have a website kind of up at the moment?
I don't have a website, but I do have like all my social media. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Sweet. Yeah. LinkedIn. I always forget about that one. There's Facebook and then there's LinkedIn. And it's like, right.
Just figured I'd throw that in there in case there's any LinkedIn professionals on there.
Totally. It's like a pretty business ran kind of app, you know?
Yeah.
Like every time I go on there, it's like it's not like social media stuff
no,
whatsoever. It's
all
business.
for networking, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not really somewhere where, you know, I would just like reach out and be like, hey, you looking for a fitness coach? Like, you know, like,
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
no, it's just like I don't know. Yeah, it's more of a networking space.
Totally. But do you go out and about and network too, or is it all done online?
I mean, I just quit my job, like, so the plan is to go out and about and network.
Right.
I just haven't had that chance yet.
I see.
Honestly, I've been dealing with like 5.5 years worth of burnout for the last 3 weeks.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah.
And how are you finding the part-time job so far? Are you liking that?
It's good. It's good. My last job I was in a management role. This one is not management at all. So literally, if anything wrong happens, it's not my problem. The employees are not my employees.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone calls in sick, not my problem. I go in, I clock out, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
You know, and I like work way less hours and make the same amount of money, if not more. So there's also that, which is very helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, from your last job, it sounds like you did a managing role.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you miss that aspect?
No.
At all? No?
Not
Okay.
at all. Not any of it.
Yeah. I can imagine it's draining on someone, like
Yeah.
it's a lot of time, a lot of effort. And then, like, I know we mentioned it before the podcast, but like when people, no show or something, you got to figure out situations like that and how you're going to deal with those kind of problems, I guess. So
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like, like you said, if somebody like no shows or like calls in sick, then you as the manager are expected to fill that gap. Yeah. So it's like, if you want time off, you have to work around everyone else's schedule, make sure you have coverage, all
Right.
that kind of shit. Not a fan of that whatsoever. And honestly, I've never liked asking for time off. I've always always hated it. Like,
Right.
always wanted to like throw up every time I had to like fill out like a vacation request sheet. I'm just like, I fucking hate this so much. I'm just like, one day I'm never gonna have to ask for time off again. Like, I'm never gonna have to ask for permission.
Yeah. You're just gonna do it when you want.
Exactly. And I can still work, right? Like, my business is all online, so I can literally work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I can support my clients and take care of them literally anywhere in the world. So I love that too.
Nice. Nice. And again, a great benefit to technology.
Yes.
You can use it to, get your connections and everything. You mentioned that you moved from Lloyd to Edmonton. So in that aspect, are you planning on having something set up here in the city, or are you going to like maybe do it on the outskirts? Are you going to maybe move again? Do you have any plans for that?
You mean for like my gym? Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sure yet. Like I said, that's like pretty far in the future.
Future goals.
I'm not sure what the future holds. I do have I have my boyfriend who is an electrical engineering technician. I know his job can take him a bunch of different places. So we'll just kind of see what goes with that.
Totally.
And like we said, like the benefit of me being able to work online is that I can like kind of pick up and like go wherever. So kind of like wherever we get planted, I guess is, yeah.
Nice. And so for the wellness part of it,
Yeah.
are you going to be doing anything with like nutrition? Is it just going to be strictly like I guess diet plans isn't the way to put it. Like, I guess maybe. Are you going to be doing that aspect of like having diet plans? Is it just going to be strictly like workout routines? What exactly are you going to be diving into with that part of it?
Yeah, so right now my program actually includes customized workouts, so tailored to whatever your goals are. It does include nutrition guidelines.
Okay.
So unless you're a dietitian or a nutritionist, wow, English is hard, which I am not, you actually can't legally prescribe meal plans.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, so I can't actually like make meal plans for people to follow legally. That's literally people who went to school for that. But I can offer nutrition guidelines. I offer meal packs every month to my clients. So every single meal, there's different recipes that they can go through and try out. They're all healthy. I do teach like a macro-based approach. So more flexible dieting. I do preach the 80 to 90, 20 to 10 rule. I guess, 80-20 rule. So 80% to 90% natural whole foods. And then, 10 to 20%, you kind of have free reign, just in moderation. You want to have a brownie, have a fucking brownie, like just,
There it is.
yes. But
Nice.
but yeah, like as long as the majority of your diet is whole, nutrient-dense foods, then I'm happy. Like I don't believe, it's like, oh, I can fit all this shit food into my diet because I can fit it into my macros. I don't believe in that.
Totally.
But I also like kind of teach you how to go through that. We kind of go through like a reverse diet depending on what your current situation is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you consider bringing in people like that, like a nutritionist to like help with those? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of helpful, because then
100%.
you could have areas that are covered, so.
Yeah, no, that's definitely like in the plans. Yeah, it's a little tougher just like when you're first starting out.
Of course.
And it's like, yeah, like once I get my business scaled to where it is like full time and I'm actually like continuously growing, then I can look at like bringing on a team and like bringing on more people who have those certifications and that schooling.
Do you like having like all the hands-on part right now, like all to yourself, or are you looking forward to like working with other people and having different ideas?
I'm kind of a control freak.
See you smiling before you answered, so it's like, uh-oh.
I'm kind of a control freak, so I do like to, I'm very much like, I like to have things done my way, and according to me, I am the only one who can do it right. So,
Wow.
No, I know that's not true,
You're listening.
and it's something that I'm growing. I'm working on it. But yeah, I don't know. I've come a long way, actually. I used to be very much just like, here, let me do it. Like, I just, here, I go, or push someone out of the way and be like, it's okay, I got this. Like, I used to be so bad at training people.
No.
Get my old job, I'd be like, okay, I'm like, okay, this customer's like in a hurry. Like, here, let me just do it. Like, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am getting better. But I do like to have control over everything. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, at your part-time job too, you don't have those stresses of the last job that you had because being in that role. But I'm glad that you're, toning it down a bit in that regard.
I will say this, that my last job, like, it did give me a lot of experience. It did teach me a lot of things about leadership, patience, like employee management. Like, it did teach me a lot. I learned so much.
Right.
But it's just not an industry that I'm passionate about and that I want to be in.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I didn't own the business, so it's like a little bit, it's different.
Right.
Because it's like you got to be careful with corporations, like, firing people or all that kind of stuff, right?
Totally.
So it's like you can't just be like, hey, you're fired. It has to go through like this huge process. Like, they can get sued. Like,
I personally think you're taking the right steps, though, going like from the full-time to the part-time, and then eventually again like going to the full-time to what you want to do, and like being the boss in your own way, like those time off sheets. That's so funny to think about. I'm like, I still think about those because I still gotta hand that shit in. That's funny that you mentioned that. Next time I fill one out, I'll be like, I want to get to that point too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all my own business. I'll be writing this to myself mentally.
Yeah.
Not physically handing it off to somebody else. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. But yeah, no, that's actually an interesting point. Who, if you can think of it, it's kind of on the spot, but who would you say, if you can think of it, has like kind of inspired you, if anyone or anything has inspired you to go the way of what you're going, like the path for fitness, mental health, just being well as a person? Has there been something that's like led you to this, what you want to be doing now?
Honestly, I just think like trauma. I don't really have a specific person who I like looked up to and it's like, I want to be like that, like I just found an outlet for me. I gained all that confidence and then I decided I'm like, I really want to impact women and I want to help them to be able to take their lives back and change their stories, because so many people or so many women have gone through the same things I've gone through.
Yes.
And they have nobody to reach out to. They think they're alone and they're not. And, I just want to be like that person for them.
Right. Because you were saying that you didn't really have that person.
No, I had nobody.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I like the point where I moved cities, like I did choose that.
Right.
I chose to have nobody, honestly, because I was like, fuck this. I need to start over, right? Like I intentionally moved to a new city where I didn't know a single person. But yeah, like I don't think I really looked up to somebody like in the fitness industry and said like I want to do that specifically. But yeah, it was just kind of like I found what helped me and what got me through my own shit and what helped me rebuild my confidence. And yeah, I just want to use that and help other women do the same.
Nice. Great platform to have.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to like just finish off that line.
Yes.
Your first year in the city, did you find it hard to get out, to like knowing people, I guess, like getting yourself out there, like, because you had no one, you came here like empty-handed essentially, and like you didn't know anyone in the city really. So what was your how did you kind of get around that? Because now you know a few people, you know, you've gotten connections in that. So was it going to the gym here that really helped fire you up to like getting to know more people, and like how you met more people?
No. I think I just like realized like being alone kind of sucks. And like it kind of like hit me that I had nobody here. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess maybe I should like meet people. And then I can't remember who, somebody had told me about it, or I had seen like an advertisement or something on social media or whatever for it, but there was like something for Bumble BFF. And I was like, oh shit, an app to make friends. That's cool, right? So it's like, what a time to be alive. That's awesome. And then so I signed up for Bumble BFF, you know.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I was looking for dates too. So that might have been where I seen it too.
Right. Yeah, 2 in 1.
I was also looking for dates. But yeah, and then on there, so I had actually first met my friend Jess. We're still friends to this day. She's one of my best friends. Love her to fucking death.
Nice.
Hey Jess, if you're listening. I don't know if she will, but that's fine. But yeah, and yeah, so I was like, okay, that kind of worked. And then so I ended up like started talking to like some other girls and stuff on there, and then I was like, I think one friend's enough for me. And then so I was like, I give up. I was just like, I don't know, there's so many, it's almost like the dating pool, you know, like it's so shallow. Like I don't know, you have like these girls who literally like won't have conversations with you, and I'm like, holy fuck, no wonder like this is what these guys are all talking about, like, oh, these girls are like barely have anything to say and like and I'm like, wow, these bitches are boring.
Yeah,
like,
so you figure it out
now.
I
figured out. I'm like, this is what they're talking about. Like
I had a coworker who actually was telling me last week, this is so funny you bring up Bumble BFF, because she was telling me about the same thing, and I asked her this. I'm going to ask you this. Yeah. Do you find it harder to well, you're with a boyfriend now, but at the time, did you find it harder to reject a guy or to reject someone that wants to be your friend?
I honestly didn't find it hard to reject either. I just
cold-hearted
stopped talking to them.
Okay, fair.
Because I'm very much like that person, or at least like I am now. Like I never used to be at this point. Like I used to try and like, I don't know, drag it along as long as possible, until something finally like gave and they just kind of dropped off. But I'm very much the person of just like, this is like, I'm not feeling it. Like,
right.
Not feeling this vibe. It's like, I'll either like stop talking to you, or, you know, like I'll say something and I'll be like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't think like we're good together. Like that kind of thing. Right.
Right.
But yeah. And then, or it's like, they just like never message you back. So it's like, I don't know. I don't find it hard to like, I don't know. I never found it hard to like reject anybody. Eventually I did get to a point where if I was dating a guy and a guy who I was previously talking to on like a dating app, they would reach out to me and I'd be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I just want you to know that I'm like seeing someone now. Right. And they would appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Most of the time. I don't think I ever actually had anybody like get upset. But I think like so many guys deal with girls just not talking to them ever again that like it was kind of refreshing for me to be like, oh yeah, sorry, like I'm seeing someone or whatever, you know, good luck. Like,
I see.
Yeah, but
that's fair. Yeah, because I feel like I don't know if there was like there might be, but like if a guy was to use it and just like, or anyone really, just to like turn down someone, like, because if you were talking to the BFF one, that one's more situated for just being friends. Is that correct? So if you're just looking to like have a friendship with somebody, this is so unrelated to what we're talking about. Anyways, I'm so curious about your opinion on it. But like if you're gonna have like this interaction with somebody and you're talking to them for a little bit and then you just don't vibe as a friend, but they let's just say they want to be your friend. You don't know initially, but like it seems like they really want to be your friend and you're just not feeling it. Like I feel like that rejection of someone just simply wanting to be your friend is harder than just being like, you know, some dude or some girl that you're talking to on a dating app that you're like, hey, you know, like rejection for that happens every day, but somebody wanting a friend, I don't know. I feel like that's like, you're the only one I have.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know. I never really had that situation like where, I don't know. I think it's just always been like kind of different. Like, just because it's like, I don't know. I feel like anybody who I've like not really continued conversations with, they've also felt kind of the same thing.
Right.
And just kind of like, or they at least like felt that like I was pulling away and like kind of backing off, and then they also backed off.
Right. Fair enough. Are you more of a texter or you like phone calls?
I don't know. I do prefer like phone calls or like face to face.
In person, yeah. Okay.
Texting, I am so bad at. But the best thing is that I found good friends who are all equally bad at texting each other.
Right.
So it all works out.
Yeah.
It all works out. But yeah, I love my friends. They love me, I hope. But yeah.
Totally.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a terrible texter, honestly.
The reason that's so funny. I'm the same
Don't
way.
text me.
Yeah. It'll take me hours to reply.
Days.
Just
It's been, I think the longest it's taken me was like 2 weeks one time. Yeah, and that just, yeah. Completely forgot about it.
Oh, that's there.
Yeah, and then just literally like, hey, I'm so sorry about it. Like, open this and completely fucking forgot about it until now.
Yeah.
Until I went to go text you and ask you a question.
Totally. Totally. Well, the reason I ask all this is like, for people that want to like maybe join what you're doing, and they
it doesn't make me look good. I'm great at messaging my clients, just so you know.
No. Yeah, I get it. That's so funny. That's not what I'm getting at, but I believe you. I believe you. Trust me. What I'm getting at is like, if you're out and about and somebody approaches you and they're like, hey, I know about you and what you're doing. Can I sign up? Would you prefer that kind of interaction over a message one? Like, I know you're going to get obviously more messages in comparison to like in person. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But like, are you all for that? Or would you just be like, yeah, you could just message me here and then just kind of let that conversation go? Or would you be like invited to like, if you feel that way, I guess it's all dependent on the situation. But like, if you were like literally walking down like White Ave or downtown, wherever, like, and somebody was just talking to you about it, do you feel like just almost not obligated? I'm dragging this out, but like, would you feel like you would want to have that conversation with them face to face about like getting like started with what you're doing instead of like over text?
Oh yeah. So I don't, I don't like talking like business or like, you know, like, talking about like a fitness program or like doing a fitness consultation, over text.
Right. Okay.
I always send a link for like my calendar. And then you can schedule a time. We can book a free 20-minute consultation.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that's a phone call then?
Yes, that's a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, it's over the phone. Yeah.
More personable that
Yes.
way. Yeah. That's why I'm getting at that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it sounds like you would be into that kind of area. Like,
Yeah.
depending on how you were going to answer that. Maybe you're all for texting. I mean, it makes sense. That's the new age, but.
Yeah, it's not as intimate. And like, I don't get to. I feel like there's like a lot of things that can be like misconstrued.
Right.
Or like, you know, some people will just try to get like price, you know, over text or, you know, over messaging and stuff like that. But like the thing is, like, I offer like multiple different programs for different budgets. That's not an issue. It's just like getting to the root of what your goals are, what you need, and even if I can even help you and if you're going to be a fit for my program.
Right.
Like I never offer anyone a spot in my program unless I've talked to them over the phone.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they're not willing to do that, then I will not sign them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. So you just like, you will stay away from like the messaging to get the final client, I guess, because you want to be talking to them. You want to get to know them a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like I want to figure out like what their why is. You know, I want to like dig deep into that, right? Like figure out what, you know, like they're struggling with and how long they've been struggling, you know, like what kind of issues they're having. And like I said, like even if I can help them, or even if they are a good fit. Like some people just aren't good fits to be like coach and client. You know, like I need to know if I like vibe with you.
Totally.
Like,
instead of just like a message and then you meet them and you're like, hey, like,
yeah, and they're just like a wet piece of lettuce and like don't do anything.
Right.
You know, like I need to like.
AJ, you got to pick up those weights, man. They've been sitting there for a minute. I'm like,
Exactly.
I know, but I'm just worried. Yeah, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, then you know who to reach out to if you need, you know, any of the above. I always forget it. See, was there 3 things, sorry, that you mentioned that you do? The wellness, the physical, and then is there another one?
Yeah, so it's fitness, nutrition, and then the mental wellness.
I see. Okay.
Soon to be mental wellness.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one you need a certification for, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. When you bundle that all together, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Well, and like your mental wellness like goes hand in hand with your fitness and nutrition, right?
Yeah.
Like it just. Yeah.
Well, a common thing that I hear is like, you have anxiety, go work out at home. It's like, okay, but what you're doing is like more than that, you know. It's like the step that like I think people need to know and be aware of, you know. Like, yes, that's a good starting stone, you know, or just starting step. Like, yeah, go work out at home, but like there's ways to do it, you know. And there's someone you can talk to, and there's like ways around it. And like you go work out, you can do this, and then if you need extra on the side, you'll have that to offer, you know. Because how many gyms offer like a person you can go talk to on the side, you know, after you do a workout and be like, come here, let's talk. How are you feeling? How do you feel after that workout? You know, how was your day today? You know, like that.
Not a lot.
I think that's there's like, I've never heard of that.
I can easily say that the entire time I've been going to the gym, there's been not one single time where someone has pulled me aside and asked me how I'm feeling.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, I think with what you're doing it's really going to be a game changer, you know, like I'm really excited to see what you do with it. And, you know, hopefully you open up a studio here or a gym here. I keep saying studio. Hopefully you open up a gym here. But, you know, wherever you go with it, you know, you're always going to have my best wishes. So
thanks, man.
I can't wait to see it. And, so we covered all those bases. Is there anything else you want to kind of jump into that you can think?
I don't think so. There's really not anything that I can think of. I guess like there's like, I don't know, I do want to kind of talk about like the fact that, you know, like my programs aren't just like fitness, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. It also includes accountability.
Oh,
I don't think I have mentioned that as well.
You have not.
No. Okay. I do want to make sure that's also in there because
Let's
that's
hear about it.
Big thing that people do struggle with.
Okay. So accountability. So
Yes.
in what aspect?
So staying accountable to your workouts, like your nutrition, all that kind of stuff. Right. So yeah, I do have a custom app, which also has like the macro guidelines and everything, nutrition guidelines, different habits. I can make custom habits for all my clients.
You have your own app?
Yeah.
Wow, you developed it yourself, or did you send it off to someone?
I sent it off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck that. I just,
I was like, there's
so
something
many
about
things
you
where I'm
I
just
don't
like,
know.
this looks complicated. I don't have time for that shit.
Interesting.
Pay someone else to do it, please.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I have my own custom app and everything, where you can actually have access 24/7 to message me. I will not get back to you like immediately all the time. But within 24 hours, I will reach out to you, give or take on the weekends.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Do you kind of still work on the weekends though? Is that
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. I am still doing things. Yeah. Like I'm updating client programs and everything. And yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And the accountability is
Yes.
all like, so that along with like, can you book your appointments through this app? Can you like, what can you do through this app? That's not just the accountability part. Is there anything else?
So there's actually, your workouts will all be on there. So you can track all those. They're with, demonstration guides on there. So they're instructional videos. It takes the guesswork out of everything. You can also send form videos and everything through there.
Nice.
So if you're like questioning like, hey, am I doing this squat correctly? You can send that to me and I can help you make tweaks if you need to. It shows exactly where your macros should be at. So your calories, your proteins, fats, carbs, that kind of thing. And it links directly to MyFitnessPal.
Okay.
So when you're tracking your food, you log it into MyFitnessPal, it pops right up in my app.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I can make custom habits. Like, so let's say, drink 3 liters of water and you just mark that off like every single day, however many steps, you mark that off every single day. But yeah, and then I would send like check-in forms, and you upload your progress pictures and body measurements every single week. And then you can see like exactly what kind of progress you're making. You can look back on all your progress pictures, like your start to where you are now, that kind of thing. You see all your body measurements. Wow. It literally has like charts of where your scale is kind of going. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay.
I had a brain fart. But yeah.
That's actually really cool to have your own app. Wow. Yeah. You are getting to that point. Next will be the gym. Yeah, that's sick. Okay, so there you have it. Yes. Your own app. And is it going to show like is it just going to be on like Apple and that, or is it going to be like on Android? Anything
it's both on Apple and Android.
Okay, sick. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so like when you do sign up with me, and you'll get an email with all the setup information for the app.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, the app's already like ready to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sick. Yeah. It's good. Ooh. Yeah. It's got my face on it and everything.
Oh, okay, cool.
My face, my name. Like,
nice. Nice. That's cool. An app is a great idea, especially for like in regards to that.
Yeah.
Wow. You better be doing your workouts. Those squats, I better not hear that you're missing out on them.
Literally see everything. Like, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And so that you're going to be accountable for anybody who's not like, well, you're going to want to make sure that they're being accountable for themselves, right? So you'll be able to see everyone's stats then?
Yep. Yeah. And then I can see, so yeah, like I'll usually do a couple, like, check-ins. I'll message all my clients like a couple times a week and just see where everyone's at. Especially like if somebody's like, missed 3 workouts in a row, I'm just like, hey, like, what's going on? You doing okay? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I've actually helped like a lot of women who have been kind of like overwhelmed with the whole process first. But yeah, just by like reaching out to them and just being like, hey, like, what's going on? They're like, hey, I'm overwhelmed with like doing all this or whatever. And then we just kind of like take it back a little bit, just make it a little bit easier, because if you're going to be overwhelmed and freak out about everything like that you need to do, then you're not going to do it. You're just going to give up. Like honestly, I'm the same way. And I don't know if it's like my ADHD, like where it's like I just sit there and I like overthink everything and I get so overwhelmed by something that I just like drop everything, and I just don't touch it. Like,
right.
So, so I know that feeling, and I don't want any of my clients to ever feel like that.
Right. Is it going to be one of those apps too that like if you have your watch on or your phone, notifications from it as well?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I actually get so if any of my clients like message me or whatever, then I'll actually get a notification on my watch, because my watch is connected to my phone.
Oh wow. And they can message you on the app? Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. Jeez.
Yeah, so 24/7 access, like, which kind of like differentiates me from like an in-person trainer, right? Like an in-person trainer, you see them 1, 2, 3, times a week. You pay so much money. You don't get nutrition guidelines at all, and you don't have access to them like that.
Wow. Yeah. That is like new shit. Nice. Good for you. Good for you. Well, you heard it here, everybody. Yeah. Want to sign up? I'll drop your in the YouTube section and on Apple or Spotify and that your info. Well, actually, you know what? How about this? If you can remember it off the top of your head right now, do you want to drop some of your socials if you can remember it? Like
I'll do the main ones that I'm active on. So Facebook, my name is Ashton Pashovitz. And also Instagram is at Ashton Pashovitz. Super easy. You just have to know how to spell my name. Yeah. So I think AJ can put that in there.
There you go. 100%. 100%. Do you have any pages for like your business?
Yes. I do have a free Facebook community. It is called the Limitless Women Free Community on Facebook. So yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so there's like regular posts and stuff on there, recipes. You can always ask questions in there as well. Wow. But yeah,
quite interactive.
Have a community of women who are kind of on their own little fitness journey, and
right. And can people join that group even if they're not part of your program?
Yes. It's a free community. Nice. It's not client only, but it is women only.
Okay, so, I see. I see. Nice. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for hopping on and sharing this.
Where is it? I've got too much shit in my way.
And that was I'm gonna butcher your last name, Ashton
Pashovitz.
Yes.
Perfect.
And that was an hour at the house.